Hi everyone, welcome to Heaven is Our Home Bible reading. Today's Bible reading is found in Genesis 31, and this chapter has 55 verses. It's quite long, so I'm going to just read through. And here is the title that I put, How to Make Peace. Let's see how Jacob and Laban make peace, and let's see what we can learn from this chapter. We can see here that Jacob flees from Laban, and Laban pursues Jacob. So here I put there, and also in there, Laban pursued Jacob. Both of them were angry to each other, but then let's see how they make peace. What did they do to make peace? So I will read. It says here, Jacob flees from Laban. Jacob heard that Laban's sons were saying, Jacob has taken everything our father owned and has gained all this wealth. From what belonged to our father. This is what Laban's sons are saying. And Jacob noticed that Laban's attitude toward him was not what it had been. Laban's attitude was changed. Then the Lord said to Jacob, Go back to the land of your fathers and to your relatives, and I will be with you. So here is the instruction of God to Jacob, is to go back to his father and to his relatives. So Jacob sent word to Rachel and Leah to come out to the field where his flocks were. He said to them, I see that your father's attitude toward me is not what it was before. But the God of my father has been with me. So the God of my father, the God of Abraham, Isaac, is with Isaac, is with Jacob, the God of my father is with me, he says. You know that I've worked for your father with all my strength. Yet your father has cheated me by changing my wages 10 times. So Laban cheated Jacob. However, God has not allowed him to harm me. So we can see here that Laban only cheated Jacob. But God is in control. It says here, God did not allow him to harm me. If he said, the speckled ones will be your wages, then all the flocks give birth to speckled young. And if he said, the speckled ones will be your wages, then all the flocks bore speckled young. So God has taken away your father's livestock and has given them to me. In breeding season, I once had a dream in which I looked up and saw that the male goat mating with the flock were streaked, speckled, or spotted. The angel of God said to me in the dream, Jacob, I answered, Here I am. And he said, Look up and see that all the male goat mating with the flock are streaked, speckled, or spotted, for I have seen all that Laban had been doing to you. He said, I have seen all that Laban has been doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar and where you made a vow to me. Now leave this land at once and go back to your native land. So it says here, for I have seen all that Laban has been doing to you. So we can see here that God is there. God is always there looking. Even from the very beginning, even in the life of Jacob, God is there. He is with him, and he is seen everything that is happening in his life, even the things like bad thing that's happening upon his life, like what his father-in-law is doing to him. He cheated him with all the wages. So then Rachel and Leah replied, "Do we still have any shares in the inheritance of our father's estate? Does he not regard us a foreigner? Not only has he sold us, but he has used up what was paid for us. Surely all the wealth that God took away from our fathers belong to us and our children. So do whatever God has told you." So their wives also, Leah and Rachel, are willing to go with him. Then Jacob put his children and his wives on camels, and he drove all his livestock ahead of him, along with all the goods he had accumulated in Padam Aram, to go to his father Isaac in the land of Canaan. When Laban had gone to shear his sheep, Rachel, Rachel stole her father's household gods. Hmm. Rachel stole his father's household gods. Moreover, Jacob deceived Laban, the Aramean, by not telling him he was running away. So he deceived him by not telling that he is running away. Uh, he did not tell what to his father-in-law. God says, "Jacob, go back to your father, to your land." But then he did not um, tell to his father-in-law. So he fled with all he had, and crossing the river, he headed for the hill country of Gilead. In verse 22, it says here, Laban pursues Jacob. You can see here in the other picture, Laban pursued Jacob, and he's angry. On the third day, Laban was told that Jacob had fled. Taking his relative with him, he pursued Jacob for 7 days and caught up with him in the hill country of Gilead. Then God came to Laban the Aramean in a dream at night and said to him, so this is how God warned Laban, "Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad." So he pursued Jacob, but in a dream, at night, God spoke to him and warned him in a dream. And he says, "Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad." So he warned Laban. Jacob had pitched his tent in the hill country of Gilead when Laban overtook him, and Laban and his relative camped there too. Then Laban said to Jacob, "What have you done? You deceived me. You've deceived me, and you've carried off my daughters like captives in war. Why did you run off secretly? Why did you run off secretly and deceive me? Why didn't you tell me, so I could send you away with joy and singing to the music of tambourines and harps? You didn't even let me kiss my grandchildren and my daughters goodbye. You have done a foolish thing. I have the power to harm you," he said. "But last night the God of your father said to me, 'Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad.' Now you have gone off because you long to return to your father's house. But why did you steal my gods?" Oh, yes, God. Here using for divination. Jacob answered Laban, "I was afraid because I thought you would take your daughters away from me." Oh, this is what he is thinking. "I was afraid because I thought you would take your daughters away from me by force. But if you find anyone who has your gods, he shall not live. In the presence of your relative, see for yourself whether there is anything of yours here with me, and if so, take it. Now Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen the gods. So Laban went into Jacob's tent and into Leah's tent and the tent of the two maidservants, but he found nothing. After they came out of Leah's tent, he entered Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the household gods and put them inside her camel's saddle and was sitting on them. Laban searched through everything in the tent but found nothing. Rachel said to her father, "Don't be angry, my lord, that I cannot stand up in your presence. I am having my period." I I stand up in your presence. I am having my period. So he searched but could not find the household god. So Rachel put so he hid it inside her camel saddle and was sitting on them. And then he says that has his period. Oh, this is her excuse, reason. Jacob was angry and took Laban to task. "What is my crime?" he asked Laban. "What sin have I committed that you hunt me down? Now that you have searched through all my goods, what you found that belonged to your household, put it here in front of your relatives and mine, and let them judge between the two of us." And Jacob is angry already because Laban is keep on searching their goods. Yeah? But he don't know that his daughter Rachel is lying. No? He hide it, and then he is lying on them on that on what's that? It says in the camel. mm, Inside her camel saddles. Jacob said, "I have been with you for 20 years now. Your sheep and goats have not miscarried, nor have I eaten rams from your flocks. I did not bring you animals torn by wild beasts. I bore the loss myself, and you demanded payment from me, whatever was stolen by day or night. This was my situation. The heat consumed me in the daytime and the cold at night, and sleep fled from my eyes. It was like this for the 20 years I was in your household. I worked for you 14 years for your two daughters and 6 years for your flocks, and you changed my wages 10 times. If the God of my father, the God of Abraham and the fear of Isaac, had not been with me, you would surely have sent me away empty-handed. But God has seen my hardship and the toil of my hand, and last night he rebuked you." So we can see here that God is, He is there looking. He is watching. He never leave nor forsake us. That's what the promise of God in Hebrews. The God sees. Laban answered Jacob, "The women are my daughters, the children are my children, and the flocks are my flocks. All you see is mine. Yet what can I do today about these daughters of mine, or about the children they have borne? Come now, let's make a covenant, you and I, and let it serve as a witness between us." So they are, after all they said, Jacob said what is in his heart. This is how my situation for 20 years staying with you, working. And this is what you do. He's saying you cheated me, everything, everything, I sleep fled from my eyes. He's telling about his hardship. And here is also Laban telling, oh, his attitude was changed because everything is Jacob becoming his flux increased. As if everything belongs to him is they know it all goes to him. But God allowed it that way because he saws how Laban is, what Laban is doing to him. So God is always there, even in suffering, in whatever situation. God is always there. God is a God of justice. He always do what is just. So, and then after all these things, there, then they make. This is now Laban said they are making peace now. It says so. Laban said this. So come now. Who says? Laban says, come now, let's make a covenant. Let's make an agreement. Let's make a treaty. Yeah. Let us make peace. Come now, let's make a covenant, you and I, and let it serve as a witness between us. So Jacob took a stone and set it as a pillar. So we can see here those stones they're making as a pillar. So Jacob took a stone and set it up as a pillar. He said to his relative, gather some stone. Gather some stone. So they took a stone and piled them in the heap, and they ate there by the heap. Laban called it Jegar Sahaduta, and Jacob called it Galid. Galid. Laban said, this heap is a witness between you and me today. That is why it was called Galid. It was also called Mizpah. So here that the stone Mizpah. Because he said, may the Lord keep watch between you and me. Keep watch between you and me when we are away from each other. So Mizpah means, Mizpah means, may the Lord keep watch between you and me when we are far away from each other. If you mistreat my daughters, or if you take any wives beside my daughters, even though no one is with us, remember that God is a witness. So they make a covenant, and God is their witness. Mizpah is a witness. May the Lord keep watch between you and me. See? So, if you mistreat my daughter, he says, may the Lord keep watch between you and me, and when we are away from each other. If you mistreat my daughters, or if you take any wives beside my daughters, even though no one is with us, remember that God is a witness between you and me. Laban also said to Jacob, here is this heap and here is this pillar I have set up between you and me. This heap is a witness. So this one is a witness to them. That I will not go past this heap to your side to harm you, and that you will not pass this heap and pillar to my side to harm me. May the God of Abraham and the God of Nahor, the God of their father, judge between us. So Jacob took an oath in the name and the fear of his father Isaac. He offered a sacrifice there in the hill country and invited his relatives and to a meal. After they had eaten, they spent the night there. Early the next morning, Laban kissed his grandchildren and his daughters and blessed them. Then he left and returned home. So this is the story of Laban and Jacob in this chapter. and they make peace. How did they make peace? They put the pillar of stone as a witness, and they called it Mizpah. No? May the Lord keep watch between you and me when we are far away from each other. They made an agreement, no? To Jacob not to mistreat his daughters, no, their children, and for Laban also not to go past, to go there to harm them. No? It says here, this heap is a witness, and this pillar is a witness, that I will not go past this heap to your side to harm you, and that you will not go past this heap and pillar to my side to harm me. No? This is the agreement, treaty. We can see even today, this is how Jacob and Laban make peace to each other. They have a treaty. And this is, we can see even by countries today, they have treaty. No, we do this, we do. They have their agreement. Both will comply to the agreement they do to make peace, not to make war, to make peace. So how can also we can apply this even in our own personal life? We can make peace. For me, I have also, in marriage life, we have also this agreement between me and my husband, that when we are mad to each other, we make an agreement to make peace to each other. And how our agreement is like something funny, but it's effective, to make peace when we are mad or angry. Yes, we give a kiss, it's like a smack kiss until we are, until the anger is gone, because when we have this smack kiss, and then we laugh, no. So if you're angry, you burst to laughter, something like that. That's an agreement between husband and wife. But even God has, God has an agreement to man, God's covenant to man. And God has made all the covenant. God has a treaty or agreement with man, and it's like a contract. And this is the Bible, is the agreement between God and man. This is the agreement. All the commands, the terms of the agreements is in this Bible, is in this Old and New Covenant. And we man, we just to submit or to comply and just obey with the agreement, with all the commands, laws, all the term of this contract that God has made between us men, for us to make peace with God. Yeah? For us to be always in agreement with the Lord. God set all His will all his wills, all his laws. What it's like this, no, it's like this agreement between Jacob and Laban, and they are going to comply with their agreement. And it is same true with us also. The Bible is um, the covenant. The Old and New Testament is the covenant of God, the agreement of God to man. We, we only need to comply or obey what is in this contract, uh, in this word of God, for us to be, for us to make peace with God, to be always at peace with God. So this is the reading here in Genesis chapter 31. And I remember that I have a friend that he gave me just a picture of it's a cute dog, and at the back Mispa. He write down this verse. He write down Genesis 31. Genesis 31. I was a believer before, also not so. I'm new believe new believer how many years before, and then he just write down this verse, and I just read in Genesis, and that I always remember this Mispa. And so may the Lord keep watch between you and me when we are far away from each other. And this is what Felani has given to me, and I always remember that's like, it's like a covenant. So sometimes when I remember, I also pray for her, because we are far away from each other. And so thank you very much for listening to this video. If you're listening, may the Lord, I hope you are blessed and learn something, and welcome again to the next reading in Genesis 32. May God bless you all. You can also subscribe if you want to be notified with other videos that I'm going to post next time. Thank you, and God bless.